Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a look at one of the real foundational texts in, achievement and ambition. It's the legendary book, The Magic of Thinking Big, sold millions since 1959.
It really is fascinating, isn't it, how a book from way back then still feels so practical. We often think success needs, like new skills or just plain luck.
Right, but this book challenges that idea head on. It argues success isn't about the outside stuff, it's about adjusting your own internal scale.
Your mental thermostat, yeah, that's the phrase used.
Yeah.
And that adjustment, well, that's the whole mission here, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And the core idea is captured perfectly in this anecdote about a sales meeting. You had most reps making around $12,000 a year.
Okay, standard for the time, perhaps.
Then there was this one top performer, Harry. He was pulling in nearly $60,000.
Wow, big difference. And when they look into why, they couldn't find anything obvious.
Exactly. No better training, not necessarily healthier, not a higher IQ. Across the group, those things just averaged out.
So what was it?
The conclusion was, well, surprisingly simple. Harry just thought 5 times bigger. Success, the book insists, is determined by the size of your thinking.
Not the size of your brain or your bank account or your connections.
Right. So if you feel stuck, the argument is it's probably not about ability. It might be an unconscious choice to think small.
It reminds me of that Disraeli quote the book uses, life is too short to be little. So if we can just crank up our ambition, our belief, the how-to sort of follows.
That's the roadmap. That's what we're exploring. Okay, so let's dig into that foundation first. That power of belief.
Mm-hmm. Because people mix this up, don't they? Belief versus just wishing.
Yeah, like passive optimism, hoping things work out.
Right, and wishing won't move a mountain, obviously.
Yeah.
You can't wish yourself into a CEO chair. But the book is emphatic. You can move a mountain with belief.
So belief isn't passive, it's active, a driving force.
Exactly. It's the certainty that something can be done.
Yeah.
And that certainty it forces you to figure out the how.
That's the interesting part, the mechanism. The book says the how to do it always comes to the person who believes he can do it. So belief isn't just a mood booster, it actually sparks the problem-solving parts of your brain.
It seems so. It turns that mental energy into action. Look at the example of starting small but thinking big. There's this story about a young woman wanting to start a mobile home sales agency.
Okay.
She only had $3,000. Everyone told her she needed way, way more capital than that. Plus, she had zero experience in that specific field.
It sounds like a tough start.
But she believed she could figure it out. She believed she could run a big operation. And that belief unlocked the how. She found the persistence, the ingenuity.
And what happened?
2 years later, she was on track to gross over $2 million. Belief didn't magically create the money, but it created the means to get there.
Wow. Okay. And the flip side is small thinking causing failure.
Definitely. Think about that bridge design project. A $200,000 commission from the State Highway Department. 21 engineering firms were approached. Only 4, the big ones, submitted proposals.
What about the others, the smaller firms?
17 smaller firms.
Yeah.
16 of them just backed away. They basically said, nope, that's too big for us.
They took themselves out of the race just based on the perceived size.
Exactly. Not based on actual capability, just fear of the scale.
Yeah.
But one small firm, just 3 engineers, thought differently. They said, we can handle this.
And they got the bid.
They got the bid. It shows the cost of small thinking. You hear it when people fail. Yeah, I didn't really think it would work, or I had doubts from the start.
So that pre-existing doubt is often the real culprit, not bad luck or circumstances.
Often, yes. It's the biggest predictor.
Which leads us perfectly into the next big topic, those mental roadblocks. The book calls it excusitis, like a disease of making excuses.
Yeah, a mind-deadening thought disease is the phrase. It's the habit of finding alibis. It explains the gap between the person achieving things and the one, well, just getting by.
How do you spot it?
It's pretty simple, actually. The person going places rarely makes excuses. The person stuck always has a detailed reason why they aren't succeeding. Saves face,
Makes sense. The book outlines 4 main types, right? Let's start with health excusitis. This is everything from the chronic, oh, I just don't feel good, to using a real ailment as a reason not to try.
Right. And the advice here is, well, it needs careful handling. It says success-minded people refuse to surrender to illness.
But that doesn't mean ignore actual health problems, surely.
No, it's not about denying reality. It's about fighting the emotional surrender. Don't constantly talk about your health, the book suggests. That's like fertilizer on weeds.
Ah, okay. So it's about the focus. Dwelling on minor or managed issues gives them power over your motivation.
Precisely. And consider this statistic the book mentions. Doctors estimate 3 out of 4 hospital beds are filled by people with EIL.
Emotionally induced illness. 3 out of 4. That's huge.
It is. It suggests a massive amount of physical suffering stems from unmanaged worry, stress, negativity. So the antidote is deciding to live until I die. Focus on the spirit, the part that is intact.
Like that college educator who lost an arm in the war. His thought wasn't, I'm disabled, but my spirit is 100% intact.
Exactly. Or the one-arm golfer's philosophy.
Yeah.
The right attitude in one arm will beat the wrong attitude in 2 arms every time.
Mm-hmm.
Mental strength trumping physical circumstance.
Powerful. Okay, second type. Intelligence excusitis. This is the quiet belief that I'm just not smart enough.
Yeah.
Using your IQ as a limit.
Yeah, we do that, don't we? But the book argues application beats aptitude. It says someone with an average IQ, say 100, but who's positive, cooperative, enthusiastic,
Will achieve more than.
then someone with a higher IQ, maybe 120, who's negative, pessimistic, maybe difficult to work with.
So attitude and application matter more than raw intelligence points.
And stickability. The book claims that's 95% of ability, just being able to see things through. Remember, knowledge itself is just potential power.
It only becomes actual power when you use it constructively.
Right. Think about that Einstein story. Someone asked him how many feet are in a mile. He said he didn't know. Why fill his brain with facts he could look up in 2 minutes?
He was focused on using his mind, not just storing trivia.
Exactly. Okay, third excuse. Age excusitis. You're never the right age. Either I'm too old to start this now, or I'm too young, nobody will take me seriously.
Both ends of the spectrum. There's the story of the 45-year-old man dreaming of becoming a minister. He thought he was too old, had young kids, little money. Seemed impossible.
But he went for it anyway, seminary for 5 years. And he found decades of fulfilling work ahead of him. Age is a limit only if you let it be.
And for young people.
Same principle. Youth is only a handicap if you think it is. What really matters is knowing your stuff and understanding people. Confidence trumps the date on your birth certificate.
Okay, final one. Luck excusitis. Blaming bad luck or crediting others' success to good luck.
Yeah, some people get all the breaks mentality. The counter is simple cause and effect. Nothing happens randomly.
Like the traffic safety example. Accidents aren't random. They result from specific failures, human or mechanical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when someone like George C. gets promoted and colleagues mutter about pull or luck,
They're ignoring the reality.
they're ignoring that George was likely better qualified, worked harder, had better people skills. It's planned work being mistaken for luck.
So the actionable advice here, when you face a setback, don't blame luck.
Learn from it. Analyze it. Salvage something useful. Like how aviation authorities study crashes to make flying safer. Research your failures. Turn them into data for next time.
Right. Okay, let's shift gears. We've talked about clearing the roadblocks. Now, how do we actively think big? Starting with the words we use.
Yes, words are the raw materials for our thoughts. They create mental pictures. If you say, we have a problem, what picture comes to mind? Something difficult, unpleasant, maybe overwhelming.
Okay, yeah. Negative vibes.
But if you reframe it, we face a challenge. Suddenly the picture changes. It sounds more like a game, something solvable, maybe even fun.
Like shifting from a burden to an opportunity.
Exactly. Same with money. Call something a big expense, and it feels like money lost, gone forever. Call it a big investment, and the picture is of capital put to work, expecting a return.
So big thinkers consciously choose positive, forward-moving language.
To shape the mental environment, yeah. And this leads right into harnessing creative power. The absolute first step every time is believe it can be done.
That unlocks the creativity.
It flips a switch. Look at the jails experiment described in the book. A group is asked, can we eliminate jails in 30 years? Initially, what do they say?
Impossible. Fear, born criminals, need for safety. All the reasons why not.
Right. Barriers. But then the instruction changes. Okay, assume it can be done. Now how would we do it? And immediately the thinking shifts.
They start generating solutions.
Instantly. Youth centers, poverty reduction policies, research into criminal causes. Belief turns the mind from finding problems to finding solutions, from critical mode to creative mode.
That's crucial for leadership, surely, which ties into that idea of trading minds.
Yes. To get people on board, to influence them, you have to see the situation through their eyes. It's basically applied empathy in a professional context.
And failure often comes from not doing that, like Ted B., the copywriter.
Oh, that's a classic example. He designed this ad for kids' shoes. He personally loved it, thought it was brilliant. But it bombed. Why?
Because it only appealed to people like him, maybe 4% of the audience? High-income, sophisticated tastes?
Exactly. He never stopped to think about the other 96%, the average buyers. They saw the ad and thought it smelled, meaning it felt alien, unrelatable. He didn't trade minds.
Costly mistake. Contrast that with the successful credit manager.
Right. His secret. He wrote collection letters that he would find reasonable and respectful if he were the one receiving them. He stepped into the debtor's shoes. Result? Record-high collections.
So trading minds, seeing from the other perspective, it's fundamental. Which also connects to another point. Listening more than talking.
Absolutely.
Wow.
The book says, big people monopolize the listening. Small people monopolize the talking. Think about it. You don't learn anything new while you're talking.
True. Learning happens when you're receiving information.
So effective leaders encourage others to talk. They ask genuine questions. What's your take on this? How do you see it? And they actually listen to the answers, letting that information shape their understanding.
That brings us towards wrapping up, I think. This theme of progress, of input and application, we've hit the power of belief, tackling excusitis, using the right words, empathy.
It all comes together.
Sure.
And the driving force behind applying all this is having clear goals. Goals keep us alive, motivated. Like Mrs. D in the book, postponing her death for 20 years just to see her son graduate.
That's an extreme example, but it shows the power of a burning desire. But facing a huge goal like that, building a massive business, getting that degree, it can feel overwhelming, right? Just looking at the sheer size of it.
Totally overwhelming. And that's where the principle of the next mile comes in. It's so practical. Remember Eric Severide, the correspondent who had to trek 140 miles through the jungle?
Yeah, he thought it was impossible at first.
Of course. 140 miles seems insurmountable.
Yeah.
But he didn't focus on the 140 miles. He focused on just getting to the next ridge or reaching the next village by nightfall.
Breaking it down into manageable steps.
Exactly. Same for writing a huge book. Don't think about 250,000 words. Just focus on the next paragraph. Or tackling a tough project at work, use an hour-by-hour focus. Just get through the next hour productively.
So big achievements are really just a sequence of small steps, done consistently.
That's it. The size of the ultimate goal doesn't change the process of taking the next step. It just means there are more steps.
Okay. So as a final thought for everyone listening, as you try to apply this magic of thinking big, don't get paralyzed by the huge jungle trek ahead, the final destination that seems miles away.
No, just focus on today.
Ask yourself this: what is the very next mile you need to conquer?